My name is Scott Currence. I know probably some of you from around different shows. I did this demo in Augusta several years back, and I think I did it once in when it was like the first or second year we had it here. We good? Yep. Okay. A little bit of my history. I'm a vocational teacher. I've taught collision repair at a vocational center here in West Virginia. My 21st year, I got 20 years in, so this is 21. But my 20th year was rough last year, so. This is a little bit of my history. I got into pen turning back in the early 2000s. Label casting, Jason Rose helped me quite a bit when I started that several years back. Always looking for a way to maybe speed up the process or make it a little easier to do some of this stuff. So if anybody have a Cricut machine or something similar, I think there's a couple out. Yeah, Silhouette. Basically what we're going to do is use Cricut Design Space, which is Cricut's software, so to speak, to do label design. We're going to print them out, and then we're going to put them right in the cutter, and the cutter will cut them to size. So, you know, is that the only way to do it? No. You know, they sell little templates that is the right size for, say, a Sierra pen or a cigar pen, top and bottom, whatever. Those work good. Some people just size them in like Photoshop or something, whatever they use, and then just cut them out. This works good. I've had a lot of people get in touch with me wanting to do this because of arthritis issues, because you don't have to hold stuff down, run knives around, cut them, trim them, you know, from the computer to the printer to the machine. If you can peel an address label, that's basically what we got. So this uses their feature called print and cut. So it takes 3 pieces of equipment. So we're going from the computer design to the printer, from the printer straight into the machine. And it cuts it right on the money. You size it in the computer, it sends it, and it goes from there. So it does a really good job. You know, what I spend, you know, $200-300 just for that feature, I don't know. But if you already have it, or you're thinking about it, it's like an added, maybe an added value to something like that. Or again, arthritis issues, you want to get into doing some label casts or things of that nature. So anyway, we'll get started. I have some stuff already loaded up. You can upload your own images. So we always do like American flag because it's already orientated. You know, anytime you do a picture or something on a pen, obviously, you know, you have to have a vertical, either a vertical element or a horizontal one. It's kind of hard to do one that's perfectly square or 2 people beside of each other. So I always try to break it down into flags. Always work good. But if you ever want to just upload your own image, you know, someone sends you a picture, wants it on a pen, something like that, you can actually just upload it. And then when you browse, you know, you just go wherever the, here's one a guy or lady sent me, and it was a picture of her mom and dad's 50th anniversary, the day they got married 50 years later. Wanted 2 pens made, so I had to split the picture. So whenever you do this, if you're uploading your own stuff, it's going to come to this screen. Always pick complex. It takes a little more time to process it, but the colors are way better. If you have something that is black and white, go simple. It goes better. So I always go, if it's a picture, I go complex, and then you come to this, and the picture is pretty big. And usually when I come to this point, I will crop it. And I'm not too particular. I just want a vertical element, and then it'll crop it down, and then you just continuing on through. And when you get to this, it's going to have a couple options. It's going to say either cut the image. So if you're cutting vinyl, you want a square, that's what you want. If you're doing a print and cut, you want to pick that side. And then it's just going to upload it. And then there's your picture. Now to get the other one, you just do it again with the other side. But I think I already have those saved, so we'll cancel. So I have a few picked. Here's theirs. Like you can do this one. That's a big picture. But it's not, the aspect ratio isn't quite right. It's going to get kind of squished. So it's better if you can split those two pictures up. And it's nicer, like if they want two pens, one's old, one's new, or whatever you need to do with that, but it works out pretty well for that. And if you have any questions, holler them, yell them out. You can even do backgrounds. Somebody wanted something with a corn background. You never know what people want. So here's one that was just a picture of kernels of corn. You resize it to whatever size label you want. I have a cheat sheet with all the label sizes already. So it just has...
Can we get a copy of that?
Sure. I meant to bring some business cards, but I'll give you my email. But it has cigar pen, bolt action pens, how big the labels need to be, length and height. So, and obviously if you're doing something that is this way, like this picture here, the width is going to be along the barrel, and then it's going to wrap around. Or if you do something that had like their picture, you're going to do it the other way. You just got to flip the measurements. So, but you can do anything. This software is free with the machine, and it's pretty powerful as far as features go. You can put text in there. You can do a lot of different things. We did. Let me go back. I got an order for a police officer pen. Any Pitt fans in here? Sorry about that. No, it was funny. I had this order for a pen, so you may actually see it come up. So you might get a giggle out of it. If you're West Virginia Pitt, you'll get the reference, but
backyard brawl.
yeah, it's kind of a deal like that, but I don't know where it was at. Police, Fairmont, West Virginia, police chief was retiring, so they wanted a pen, and it's actually on. It turned out really well, and it completely did it inside of Design Space. Boy Scouts, anything like that. There's one that's nice for a math teacher. It's pie, and then you just wrap, size it for whatever pen kit you want. Always make those for my daughter's math teachers. But, sky's the limit. People send me this stuff of their kids. And then, sometimes that one there is actually not shaped too bad. Usually you don't have to crop it down too much. But you can always just go back. If it crops weird, you could just undo it, go back and undo it, and then go from there. But the software is pretty good. Anybody use the Design Space software? Yeah. Works pretty good. Most included software is kind of with machines, but this is actually pretty good. I was trying to find that Pitt one. It's kind of funny. We always have a song, Sweet Caroline. with Pitt, but it's actually on a pen. That one here, West Virginia News, is a local station, and they wanted a variety of colors of pens with their logo. So you just bring in a box, color it, and then center their logo. So they wanted, like, you know, did just a variety of colors, red, blue, print them all out. It works real well. There was a 9/11 one I did, oddly enough, today. That was one we did a long time ago. If you can see it, it's kind of hard to see, but it's the Twin Towers with the lights coming up. That works pretty well. But anyway, we'll move on. So when you go to resize these labels, obviously I have a cheat sheet. You can do the math, try to figure out the diameter. Everybody remembers that stuff, right? That's why I got the cheat sheet. But always oversize it a little bit, because you're always going to end up wrapping over the seam. You want a little bit of overlap. You also want a little bit of overlap on the ends, not a lot, because when you roll them, they may be just a little crooked, and if you have a little trim off, you may never notice. So if it's dead on the money, or if you're doing a pen that has a border, you have to be really, really careful about the border. It'll be shifted one way or the other way or whatever. So I tend to try to shy away from those kind of things. Yep.
So when you roll that over the exposed edge, that you
Yes.
have to color that?
Yes. So the question was, what do you do with the edge that's showing? It's always white. Off of Amazon, they have a pack of, like, oh geez, I have no idea, you know, like 25 different colors of Sharpie markers. When I roll it, while it's still standing up, that last little piece, right down the edge, blow dry it, and then just roll it over and then seam it down. But those Sharpie markers have all the, you know, browns and reds and things. And the thing is, you're going to see the seam. Very seldom can you get away with, you know, invisible seam, because it's a seam. So you make it look better, especially if you have a dark, and obviously the white, if you have a white label, it works pretty well because you don't have to do anything. But yeah, I color them right before I lay them down. So I tried to do it after you lay it down, and it's just a mess. But the beauty with this is, anytime I do a design for somebody, I always do an extra, because you know you're going to blow one up, especially if it's a time crunch. You know, hey, I need this and I need to turn it by the end of the week or whatever, and you run into an issue of, you know you're going to blow it up because of and there's no way to recast another one. So always do an extra at least, and then usually you sell them the extra one. That always tends to work out too. I turn them both. I don't put the pens together, but say, hey, you know, I went ahead and done it, and, you know, let them have it, maybe a little discount or something. So, or if it's something that you sell a lot of, Second Amendment stuff sells good on bolt action pens. Just make an extra one, and that way you'll have it if you need it. Or somebody wants it, and it's already cast and ready to go. So, go ahead and trim them up too. Who sands when they trim their ends? Isn't that the best? Those devilish barrel trimmers? Not a fan. Well, they work okay. They dull too fast. So, you know, you can sand ends a good long time. So anyway, when you size these, we'll do this for, let's just say, a Sierra. Everybody knows those. Make sure when you size these, you unlock the aspect ratio, because you're going to be changing the width and the height, right? So what happens is people change the width to what they need, and then they change the height and changes the width, and you're going, what in the world's going on here? You need to unlock it, and if you can see, I guess you can see that.
And that's called aspect ratio?
Aspect ratio lock, yeah. and it's just a little padlock. It's open, so that means I can change these individually. So a Sierra is 2.275, and then the other one is going to be, that looks good, huh? 1.347. So that is size for a Sierra pen tube right there.
That oversized a little bit on that.
Yes, this is already considered oversized in my measurements. So what I do, I'll relock it. That way, if I need to put their names on it, I can just drag it big, put their names on it, and then immediately just set one of these back, and it will shrink it right back to the proper aspect ratio. So, and actually, when you look at it that way, you know, it did change it a little bit, but it still looks okay. If it stretches it funny, go back and maybe crop it again, or something like that. But like I said, if you're just starting out, flags work great because they're already kind of that shape. State flag stuff sells good, American flag stuff sells good, or whatever. But, so I'm going to resize that back to, let's see, 1.347. And then I'm right back where I started from. Make sure though, if you put names on them, lock them, because if you don't, when you draw it back, the letters are still going to be big. The software on a lot of these programs are similar. So once you figure out one, the other ones aren't as bad. So these work pretty well. The beauty of this with the print and cut is you don't even have to space these out in any particular order. So let's say they want 5 of these. All I have to do is highlight it and go to the duplicate button. 1, so that makes 2, 3, 4, and 5. I don't have to line them up. I don't have to do anything else with those. Those are ready to go. So the sheets we use are full label sheets. We get them online. The part number, it's onlinelabels.com. The part number, and watch, they have a lot of confusing part numbers. And these are just absolutely 100% one big label sheet. The part number is OL177WJ. They're waterproof matte finish labels. So, and like I said, this is just one big label, one big 8.5 by 11 sheet. So I try to use, these are about 50 cents a piece. So I try to fill them up. So if you only have like 2 things somebody wants, I always fill it up with something that sells okay. You know, American flag stuff, Second Amendment stuff, whatever sells. Go ahead and fill it up. That way you're getting more out of your sheet. That makes sense. Yep.
After these are printed, do you have to put do you spray a coating over
Nope.
it so the ink doesn't run?
Nope. They actually go right, it doesn't smear. That's why I've bought cheaper stuff. These, you can get coupons from this company. You get it's like 10 bucks off, whatever. But you have to buy a pack of 100, and they're, you know, 50 bucks for 100 pack, and they last till the end of time. So they last a long time, or split them with somebody, split a pack of them. Like I said, they end up being about 50 cents a piece.
So is that an inkjet printer?
Yes, just a plain, this printer is 50 bucks at Walmart. I have found that the cheaper printers today print better than the high dollar ones from 10 years ago. It's all in the settings. So high quality settings on this inkjet printer do great. Never had an issue.
What printer are you using?
This is an Epson XP446.
I bought a Canon one at Walmart, and for some reason, it don't go down like into the 64s. So like when you print the label off.
Right.
And you cut it, they're all too short.
Gotcha.
They never reach around the barrel. So that may be something they want to watch for.
Yeah, I don't know. I do know that if you're doing a PDF, if you're printing from a PDF, there's a setting in there to make sure that the software in a computer is not cropping it down when you print. You want it to be full size. I do know that's a setting in there that you got to watch for. It'll print it, and you're wondering why it's too small. And that's one of them.
Operator error.
Well, that's true too. That does happen. But like I said, this thing was $50 at Walmart. I keep it in the shop. I had a lady sew me a cover just to keep the dust out of it. Same with this. She sewed me another one for the other machine. And I just keep it covered up. Never had any issue with dust and it does a good job. So, like I said, when we want to print this stuff, let's say we're good to go. We've got, what, 5 of those did we make? Go to make it, and it's going to throw it over into this screen. You can actually see how much of the sheet I haven't used. It's up to you if you want to waste the extra sheet. You can't really print it again. I guess if you do a half a sheet, you could turn the sheet over and run it through your printer backwards. But I'll get it backwards or upside down, or because I think this thing like spins it up and then it never comes out the same way twice. But I always just fill it up with something that sells good. So we'll go back and let's just grab that one. We'll make these this will be a bolt action. So select it and unlock it, and then we're going to go 2.036 by 1.212. That ain't right. I think I got them backwards. And that's what I mean by getting them the wrong direction. This will be better. Just wait. That's better. So, like I said, you got to watch. If it's going this way, it's one way, and this way. So if you got just a little dyslexia like I got, it gets kind of goobered up. But I do have eyes, and I can see that wasn't right. So this is for a bolt action pen tube now, ready to go, sized and everything. So I'm just going to make enough of those to fill the sheet. We'll see how many, and I can always come back and delete some. So make it. We probably get a few more on there, but we don't have to. And again, you can add other ones, whatever you want. It's up to you. If you notice up here, you can see the black outline. You're going to waste some of the sheet with that black outline, and it's there for a particular, very important reason. And when we run it through the cutter, I'll show you why. So we're going to go ahead and run this, if things work properly. Hey, we're really doing it here, so it's hard to tell what's going to happen. This isn't like the movies. So we're ready to go. 8.5 by 11 paper. This is 8.5 by 11 sheets of labels. You got to watch. The face is whiter than the back. The back's got like a little bit of a yellow tint to it. You may run them through backwards sometimes, but
actually I had to put a post-it note on my printer that said shiny side down.
I got you. Yeah. Hey, you got to leave yourself notes.
Yep.
But have you ever wrote yourself a note and like 2 days later forgot what the note meant? You're like, what did I write that for? 462.3. I don't understand that note. All right, so we're going to send that to the printer, hopefully. Now here is a very important thing. If you're going to use this, make sure this bleed is checked, because what it's going to do, and it's hard to, probably you can't see it there. No. What it does, with bleed on, it takes the outside pixels of your label or your sticker. This is basically for making homemade stickers at home for the kids. You know what I mean? That's basically what we're doing. It extends those colors out just a little bit. That way, you have a little extra leeway on the cut line. You're not going to have a picture that's off-centered. So it's kind of a little cheat. But if you don't do that, sometimes you'll get maybe just a little bit of a white edge. And if it's on the part you roll over, you're going to see it. If it's on the end, it might not make any difference because you're going to trim some of that off anyway. But always add it.
So it's called add?
Yeah, add bleed. It's on the, when you go to print it, right before you print it, it'll say add bleed. And then however many copies, I've only ever done one. But I guess if you're going to do multiple sheets of the same ones, you can run it through the machine that way. And then just print it, and we will see what happens.
Now, is your printer, through the print properties within the computer, set up to print the highest quality?
Yes. The question was, set it to the highest you can get with your printer. You're going to use more ink, but especially if you have, it seems like black backgrounds, you're going to see the streaks with lower settings. And the thing about when you do a label cast, because you're going to pour epoxy around it, it's a magnifying lens. So you can make a slim line on a real thin tube, but use it like if you're going to do something like a Euro pen that's a little bigger barrel. It looks like the label's right under the surface, but you know it's not. So it does magnify that stuff, so anything like that's going to get magnified. So, but yeah, this, and some people say, well, you know, they ask, you know, how long do you wait before you pour epoxy on it? As soon as you can get it rolled. I actually I heat my molds up, silicone, and I use a $5 food dehydrator, got Goodwill. It's got shelves. That's a food dehydrator, like to make beef jerky. It gets hot. It's got shelves. I use it to warm my tubes up. Use it for everything. Does a good job. So, there's our labels. Obviously not cut yet. But, like I said, this outline is very important when it gets to here. If you ever wonder how it knows where to cut it, that's the black line. So, I don't know. We might move that when we start over here. That way they can see it go. And the thing about it too is once you cut these, whatever you don't use, just put in a folder. You don't have little squares to keep track of, or I've just got folders and folders of stuff. Here's one from, I don't know if you can see it. It's just a whole sheet of probably Sierra pens, but anytime you want to use it, you just, there you go. That's your label. Already cut, already printed, ready to go. That's fine. One of the things that I don't particularly like is the mats. You get dusty, you get them dirty, they don't want to stick, you go buy new ones. I just keep them in the sleeve. Try to, when you do these, try to line them up the best you can. You can be off a little bit. I'll just put them in the corners. Well,
I have found that baby wipes clean those out.
Oh, clean the dust off of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, that's all.
I just put the plastic back on them. They last forever. And these, I think you can get, what, 2 for $11, or you can get them at Walmart. So, nope. Mm-mm. That's the beauty. That's kind of the neat part of it. But what's neat about these sticky mats is you can use really small pieces of extra vinyl. Where I work, I have a 24-inch vinyl cutter off the roll, and those weigh so much because it actually has to feed through on the roll. And stuff that you would normally just throw away, if you have a machine like this that you can actually put it on the mat, it'll cut smaller, irregular shapes, pieces, anything like that. But
How far off do you put it on the sheet?
I tried the other day when I was making sure everything still worked. Before you get up here and everybody's, everything's breaking down, people throwing stuff at me. I tried to set it really crooked. And I think if you're off a little bit, you're okay. But if you're off because I set it on there like this, and that thing was just looking for that line like crazy. So I think it knows where it should be. So it's probably a little leeway, maybe 1/4 of an inch either way. So once this prints, you pull it out, set it on your sheet. It's already loaded into the machine. It has already sent it over, and there's a blinking light to load the mat. And all you're going to do is just load it, just like that, and then you're going to hit the load, and it's going to load it. And like I said, I just took, it didn't load it. See, this is real life, people. It's dry. That's a lot of ink on that paper. There it goes. So now it's loaded, and if you see it, watch what it does. I'm one of those people that sees something and I gotta know how it works, because I'm a mechanical person. I worked in body shops for years. And it actually looks for the line. You'll see a little light turn on, and it's actually a camera looking for the line. And it'll go to each corner before it starts cutting. Now what you find out with CNC type machines, so whether it's a Cricut, a vinyl cutter, a CNC, there's no method to its madness. It'll cut here, it'll go clear over here and cut this, and then come over here. At the end it's done, but it doesn't seem like much. So it's going to start looking for that, looking for the lines. This machine is the Explore Air 2. As long as it'll do the print and cut, this machine's like 3 or 4 years old.
About what do they run?
These you could buy at Walmart. I think I've seen them down $199 or something, because they were the older model. They have one before this one too. These are also Bluetooth. You can use your iPad, and then it's just going to go.
Is that an actual blade cutting now?
Yes, yeah, and there's no. Yeah, and what it does is as it moves, it's just spinning on its own. It's like an angle, and it's a little blade. I've never changed that blade. And the setting on the knob is just for vinyl. Just use it as regular vinyl. I think it's good. Yeah, Jason Rose does his. He does his this way too. I I like it because, one, it's easy, you can size it, it cuts it, you save what you don't use on a sheet in a folder. They're good, you know, I've used labels 3 or 4 years old, and just redo them.
Does label paper stick to all the different masks? I know there's like a light grip and
Yeah, I always use the green, which is standard grip. Sometimes though, I've gotten some of the green ones that are really grabby, and it wants to peel the back off your label sheet. So I don't really, it just needs to stay put. It doesn't need to be there till the end of time. So, you know, don't get the car out and roll over top of it, pushing it down. That's it, it's done. And then unload it. And it seems like after a few uses, they get better coming off.
They say too, you could prep the squares, whatever, with like just the material that doesn't, what is it, like a t-shirt or something?
Yeah, in the auto field, because I was a body shop guy, sometimes we'll get masking tape, or we'll have a car that's coming in that paint's a little, you don't want it to peel off, but you have to paint something to tape it up. We'll just take the masking tape and just run it on your shirt, and it takes, some of the fuzz comes off and makes this tape less sticky. It's probably same kind of deal. But they have one less than this, and then they have one more than this. Now, the Maker, which is the new one, does a lot more materials. And actually, I'll tell you a story on this machine here. I bought this off a lady off of Facebook Marketplace. I messaged her, and $50 brand new in the box. And I said, you know, what's the deal? She said, my sister or somebody bought it for her. And she said, I opened it up, there's no book. There's no book. I don't have time for that. $50 brand new in the box. I said, hey, I'll be there. But you can do iron-on stuff for, you know, shirts and all different kinds of crickety things, I guess, if that's a word. It is now. Copyright. But yeah, now that's ready. Those are ready to go. And it's just like peeling an address label.
Are you going to wrap it around it?
I can probably just...
But are you going to wrap it around it?
Oh, I can, yeah. Hand me that. Just the big bin of tubes. Who has a big bin of tubes? Wow. Because you never mess them up, right? Who buys the 10-inch ones? Just to have. What was that? What did we make that for? Sierra, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They make jigs to roll these. I bought one. I messed them up more than just doing it this way. Where are we at? All I do, lay it flat on the table, and I'll stand above it and kind of center. This might be hard to see, but I'm just going to push it right into the corner of it and roll it. And then just make sure, I always have gloves. I bought boxes of gloves. Not so much for getting the ink on you, but for really getting it pressed down and not getting your, again, from a car paint standpoint, your greasy fingerprints are the worst for everything. So always wear gloves. But COVID has really raised the price of those babies. You get them at Harbor Freight for like $6 a box, and now they're 18. We, at school, we went from buying them for like $8 for 100 to being $8 for 20. So it went up 80% or whatever. Actually, no, way more than that. I tell you, math wasn't my subject. That's why I got the cheat sheet. But there you go. It's rolled. Obviously, you can see the seam because I don't have my markers with me. And then I just take a razor blade, and then I just take it and just just cut it right off. I hope you can see that. And that's it, ready to go in the pot, or in the mold.
That was a regular, I should say, unscuffed tube.
Yes. I don't scuff any of my tubes. Now, when I'm gluing them in like a piece of wood or something, 5-minute epoxy, I'm one of them people. I've never had an issue. I know some of like PSI stuff, some of those now come scuffed.
I didn't know if it had to be a flat, shiny finish, or you get
No, either way. Yeah, either way.
I mean, I've heard some people say that the scuffed ones tend to not, the label doesn't stick as well.
That's what I wondered.
I've used scuffed and I've used unscuffed.
I've not run into any issues. The biggest thing that I will tell you to do is, with gloves on, really work that sticker on there. Get it warm. Yeah. Because what'll happen is it'll start to peel. You know, it'll lift up. That's the biggest thing. Like I said, that one's ready to go.
Scott, do you ever notice any inconsistency with the tackiness, aggressiveness of those labels?
These, no. These are, I've never had any issue with these labels whatsoever. Again, they're not what I would consider cheap. Well, you just have to buy 100 of them. That's the problem. You know, people's like, $50 for it there. There's 100 in there. You know, meet some friends.
You can buy 10 of them, but they're going to charge you $30.
Do they? I just get the 100 pack, so.
You can buy 10, but they're going to charge you $30 for them.
Yeah, so I just buy the 100. They last forever. And they'll send you coupons like $10 off of 50 or something. But. Well, it depends on how long you use. Oh, I'll tell you one other thing, and this was something I just started. Let me go back.
Once again, that was onlinelabels.com.
Yes. Yep. This is kind of a neat little thing you can do with. Let me find it here. This is just a little cute little thing, if I can find it real quick. It's not my picture. Or maybe I'll have to just upload it. I'll just upload it. Is these. Just pink. And then you can cut them out in labels and give them baby's finger thumbprint, and then cast it for a gift. Baby blue, thumbprint, fingerprint, whatever. Those do pretty good too as gifts. And you can use them on, you know, if you make something and any kind of a label cast, because it can be any size you want. But
So you just print a blue or pink.
Yeah.
And then you put the child's thumbprint in there.
Yep. So this is something a little different. Any questions?
Great presentation.
Thank you. What's that?
The cheat sheet, where can I get that?
Actually, I'll tell you what. My email, Scott Currence,
Spell that, please.
SCOTTCURRENCE @gmail.com. I got in early. Got my real name. Not like Scott Currence 1482 BC, whatever. Or look me up on Facebook. Appalachian Wood Turning and Design, my Facebook page, or business page. So, all right, thank you.